G'day, guys. Part two. Went and fed the kangaroo, saw the emu, saw the koalas, did a Steve Irwin impersonation with the big snakes. They go, oh, look at these snakes, mate. No, I'm just doing what I did in Canada and America. We've got Anne over the way from one of my favorite places, British Columbia, Canada. It's like my second
Hello.
home. It's like my second home. And hello to you. You did a wonderful job. Part one. If you haven't seen it, jump on YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, and even on Facebook on Journey of a Whitefeather. Wonderful. We got She calls herself a white witch. Now that really intrigues me because I said I understand and practice the art. I guess the art will say, Anne, of witchcraft. You get an understanding of it. We were
Yeah.
talking about,
Yes.
you know, witches. When you say something about witches, you go, oh, you got the big hat. You look like the Wicked Witch of the West with the green. With the green, you look like Witchy Poo from, HR Puff and stuff, and all those other ones. You got the big black hat, big cauldron. You live in the
Flying on brooms and yeah, yeah.
you got
All of
75
that.
cats, and you dance around fires naked, telling the world what they
Under the
think.
moonlight. Yes. You
That's
know,
always the claim. Oh, really? Oh, they do that.
there's
Yeah,
a bit of truth in everything.
there is a little bit of truth, believe me. But we were talking off air about that. What you said you studied Hebrew and that and talked about. I'm a massive fan of Halloween. I don't mind celebrating it. I mean, I know what the go is with. I know it's been changed from the 30th of April to the 31st of October. We won't go into that now. And I celebrate it. I dress up as the Fiend Bray Wyatt and I scare people and they think it's hilarious. But there is a
Yeah.
serious side, and we were talking about that off air. Tell us a little bit about your experiences with the concept of these holidays that we go through on the. It's not the Gregorian calendar. I think I've got it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
I
go.
think that's a lot with it is when like he had mentioned I was studying Hebrew for a while and I was like going with the festivals and stuff of the Hebrew and their calendar, and it's very different from the Gregorian, and they believe that all these holidays are actually like each one is representation of a different sin, they say.
Yep.
And so I shunned them for a
Okay, we've got a bit
long
of a
time,
pause
right?
there.
Like
That's all
while I
right.
was still indoctrinated and stuff. But my mind is kind of in between right now. So the thing with Halloween, I think, is it is it's a time when the veil is very thin, right? Between the
Yes.
spirit realm. And so I think it is a very big time in like the satanic where they take advantage of that maybe, and like the people that work with dark arts. Um but I don't like try to focus on that a whole lot. I think if your intentions, if it's, you're not there, you're not there, right? And I don't think everything should be demonized. And yeah, but I believe it is a time that is very, very connected to the spirit realm. And yeah,
It is
that's
a
kind of
big
where I'm
thing.
at.
Yeah, it is a big thing. Like, yeah, we see. Well, we know. There's a little bit of a backstory, which I'm going to go into when it actually comes up. We've got Halloween coming up, so and it intrigues me how we dress in certain things because we want say the spirits are think excuse me a part of us. We give gifts for them to keep away. The veil's short. Pardon me, excuse me. The harvesting of the new, getting rid of the old. These are just basic simple symbolizations, and
Mhm.
they've commercialized. But we look at as spiritual practitioners, if you want to put it that way, or people of the earth,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
understanding. And as you said, you studied Hebrew and understood those why they didn't celebrate those holidays. What kind of impact has that had on you with regards to your practices now? Do you have an awareness? Do you use it? How do you go about it? With especially you said you've got tarot, you do tarot cards, you understand astrology, you understand the planets are a big part of our lives that people go, oh yeah, really. And probably
The moon cycles,
yeah,
yes.
and I will ask you about the Akashic records after this, after you answer that question.
Sure. Um, well, I think the thing is with a lot of these practices, um, every I find like every kind of religion or every kind of practice has their different timelines for, holidays or certain, festivals or, the Sabbath days and stuff like that.
Yep. Yep.
And I think it's really important, right, when you're delve into the spirituality part of it. to be protected, right? Because when you're into witchcraft and stuff, no matter if you're white witch, whatever, you need protection from the elements, protection from the spirits.
And how do you do
And
that? Explain, keep going, explain that, because a lot of people, they love having to play with seances. You know what I mean? Oh, we're going to play with spirits, but it is an absolutely serious thing, isn't it?
yes, because a lot of people, what they don't realize is, these things, when you invite them in and stuff, you actually give them access to you, right? And so when you delve into spirituality and stuff like that, it's important to cleanse your energy, to protect, to put up a protective barrier around your space, and that you only allow, spirits, entities, deities that are of the highest frequencies, that are of love and light, and that, you kind of bind and banish all trickster, deceitful energies, entities, deities, what have you. And
Yep.
yeah, so there's a lot of different ways that I do that. I make anointing oil. I make it myself, like from herbs and oil and stuff, and sweetgrass, sage, palo santo. And
Palo
I also
Santo,
make
yeah,
black
sage,
salt.
Palo Santo. I use black obsidian. I always
Yeah,
carry black obsidian, rose quartz as well as white quartz. Um,
yeah.
being a practitioner yourself, now, I mean, I play with it, but I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
How do you? What do you do? What I mean, you know what you're doing. What do you do to? What's your opinion when people do go and make a comment about? Oh, I've done this. I've done that. Um, this is what they think it's
Um,
fun. And a lot of people think they're intrigued. They're not even intrigued. They think it's hilarious. Oh, I go and play with spirits. Like we actually know how serious that can be, isn't it? Serious that can be. Yeah.
yeah, that's why I make a lot of my videos and stuff like that, talk about the dangers of this stuff, like what people don't realize and they just see.
Yeah.
Because with a lot of media and stuff, the society has gotten to the point where, this kind of stuff is labeled as cool, and it's like, and it's very serious, right? People don't realize, like, and
Absolutely, it
when you
is.
work with deities, especially, um, it's really important. I always tell my beginner witches and stuff that it's really important to do your homework on someone when you send something out, like if you're going to go that far.
Yep.
Because I'm not somebody's daddy or whatever. I can't tell people what to do. All I can say is if you are gonna do this, then here are the dangers and here's what you need to look out for. I don't encourage it. I try not to encourage it, right?
Yep.
Like I don't say like, oh, it's so cool. Like, look, I can do this and I can do this. Because no, like it comes with very serious, there's natural laws, spiritual laws, universal laws. You have to
Yep.
like consider everything,
We have to
right?
know it
And
all, don't we? And this is the thing
yeah,
with what we do is, as I said, we only practice to where we're at. Like I'm not saying I'm a novice, but there's certain
yeah,
things I have an awareness and you have an awareness of
yes,
what levels we have to go to, but we have the big awareness that this whole thing on this journey that we're all on is
yeah,
that we can really play. But it's really funny, and that we have people make fun of us as people in some ways. They go, oh, she's, crackpot witch or whatever you want, all this stuff. But suddenly they find they're really intrigued deep down. They're actually go and have a little play, and then they go and play with these bloody seances and they bring in demons or bad
yeah,
entities. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And bad,
Hmm.
we all know bad entities, though. We know the way our vibration and frequency is, and where our guides are. Excuse me, a lot of things that happen within ourselves that we can attract
Yes.
these things. And it's not really a joke, but they're sort of made a joke and then they go, oh, I'll go one night and they'll go and have a seance. It's just what?
Yeah. Yeah. Or they'll be like, read one book and then just think, okay, or they'll look up TikTok spells and like start doing shit that they have
Oh,
no
yeah, exactly.
that
Yes,
they have
yes, yes.
no clue, right? And I think a lot of like demons, what we're talking about, are I've spoken on this before. They don't actually have to manifest as, these scary like entities and stuff like that. They can be frequencies of greed, lust, envy, jealousy, right? It's all a frequency. So once you give into that and say like, be jealous or hate on somebody simply
That's
when,
kind of an
especially
ego. It's like an ego
they
trip,
haven't
isn't it?
done nothing to you, right? Or you don't
Yeah.
even know them. You just want to attack them out of jealousy, whatever. You give those demons footholds, right? And
You
so when
sort of
you
lower
think like,
you lower your vibe, don't you? So you got your vibe
yeah,
lower, so then they can enter in some way.
yes,
So you're using those like envy and that. I mean, if you've got envy, that means your ego is involved. That means you're low on your energy. But that's the easiest way I
yeah,
look at it. Is that? how you
Yeah,
just
you really give them access to you. Like, and then I think people lose themselves that way. And, when they obviously they aren't aware of what they're dealing with and how to protect themselves. And, some people say the thing, that energy never lies. And well, that's not quite true because what I've learned in occultism and stuff and metaphysics, that people can like cloak themselves and or mask themselves in other people's energy. They can cloak their own energy to where if you are somebody that is sensitive to energies, it would appear, that they have a different aura, that they're, have this certain energy when that's not really who they are at all. So the energy doesn't lie. That saying, I don't totally believe in that. I mean, yeah, that's kind of misleading to somebody that is I'm not very, I'm not trying to say that I'm at that level at all yet, but I know that it is possible to
you
do
have an
that.
awareness. We've both got so you have to know your limits in what you do.
Yes.
And if say people ask me about what I do and where I'm at, you go, do you an appreciation of witchcraft? Where I go, yeah, absolutely. I know. Even funny enough, as I said, I keep referring back to Charmed. That was a classic. I mean,
Yeah.
but when as you're going through our awakening process, and you actually look right into what they were doing,
Hmm.
right? That's and having a deeper understanding. Okay, I can go. Oh, I can go and play a spell and get a like. The classic one was the love spell. I mean, you've probably seen that shit.
Oh, I just made a video on that very thing.
When was
And the
that?
dangers of it.
Yeah, we'll make sure actually jump on Anne's video. I don't have to do it now that she's done it. I'll repost on my TikTok. Love spells. They're
Yeah.
the best things going around.
Oh gosh. Or like, yeah, everyone and a lot of these tarot readers, right? You have to be very aware of who you go to for these kind of things. And like I talk about, a lot of them are projectors, right? Whether they realize this or not, is when they're constantly talking about like negativity or anything like that. It kind of like,
You
the
can
mind is a powerful thing. So when that's constantly projected onto you, you can actually make that a reality, right? The more energy and thought you put into it could very well become your reality. So I try to tell people to steer clear of, readers that are constantly on the negative, like, oh, this is gonna happen, or this is people
do you
are
think it's a
doing this to
feeling?
you. And
Do you think it's a feeling though, and with those ones, because there's a lot of people who do general readings, which is fine. Okay, I
yeah,
think the general reading is good because then you just go on there. Okay, I'm on this one. I'm a Cancer. They're doing a reading for Cancer. Okay, let's have a bit of a reading. So, because if you have an awareness, I believe,
yeah,
and you can make a connection and a excuse me, an awareness, and just go, something was said, but it actually strikes you here. You can understand
yeah,
a little bit more, if that makes sense. Because I think people have different frequencies and energies. We are talking to Alexis last night, um, and she's the one who can read people's energy, and she said, you know, she's that kind of metaphysical medium in some ways, where it's a bit different to what you do in a lot of ways. But we're all on the same level, if you get where I'm going.
yeah. Like we all have our different strengths, right? And I don't claim to like when somebody has more knowledge and stuff, I will acknowledge that. Definitely. I love to learn. And I'm no neophyte at this, but I'm not no laureate either, right? Like I respect people and their different what should I say? Their different
They're
strengths.
differences. I guess they're different strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I really respect a lot of people and their abilities. And I never knock on anybody's abilities or anything. I just simply try to spread awareness like of what I have come across in my studies. Like I said, I delve a little bit into everything. And, you know, maybe that's not the way really. I should just focus on one thing and try advancing that. But I'm just like I'm just curious about everything and how it all ties together.
And
And I
it's
mean,
trying
I
to
don't think we'll ever
get
find the
all right.
root of everything, right? But
Yep.
I'm just very, yeah, very
Yeah,
curious.
yeah. It's one of those. We're all very curious, but we've also got our strengths, which you've said. Like you're really, if you were to do a spiritual a guidance reading or however you want to call it, I don't know,
Yeah.
consultation. Let's use that. You can use look, I've got a great astrologer. So you go when we find, we can find that we use all our tools to see what happens. I'll give you an example, and you can tell me. I mean, because I'm intrigued in the way, because and we're both on the same sort of level. got an astrology reading from a friend of mine. She
Mhm.
was spot on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The awareness of where I was spiritually was totally different because she said something, and like my old subconscious programming came up,
Hmm.
and it didn't manifest for another 2 or 3 years. Now,
Yeah.
now in that case, what I learned is you got to be really careful what you tell people because you don't know where they're at. Uh,
Influence them, right? Like you could,
well, you're not even
yeah,
influence. I don't think it's an influence. I think that people just don't realize. Well, astrology is a little bit different because astrology happens. That for me, that's just the way
yeah,
it is. Whereas psychic readings are a bit different because we're working with energy levels and frequencies and vibrations. So you got to be
yeah.
really, really careful. How do you cope with that? I think I said that to you in the first part, but
Well,
coming back
it's
to what
about
you do,
everything,
yeah,
right? Like a lot of readers will say it's energy that's either past, present, or future when we read into these kind of things, right? And so, a lot of them will, or when we talk about different timelines and stuff like that, and um, so many it combines a lot of everything, right? Numerology, symbolism,
synchronicities,
yeah,
even.
different energies and stuff like that. And you have to know like your signs and everything.
Yep.
There's a lot to it, but once you start really like delving into it and understanding and studying it more, then it just really plays out like a book. And I've blown some people's minds with what I've seen in the cards, right? And yeah, so people will understand it. And like I always say, well, I will be starting to do readings here pretty soon. Just take what resonates with you and leave the rest, right? If
Are you
don't make
doing?
something.
Sorry, just to cut you off. Are you doing general readings on TikTok, or are you just having personal consultations?
Well, I do personal consultations at the moment.
Yep.
But I'm gonna start doing collective readings.
I think you should.
Yeah.
I think you got a
Yeah.
good grasp from just talking to you. I think you got a good grasp.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
especially just the videos. We're talking about. Let's talk about love spells. I saw your eyes go. Oh my god! My god! It's these spells and stuff. I think because of the way people what's happening in the world, because people are getting desperate to find that happiness with them. Even just
Yeah.
pop it a Coke or whatever, just to get that hit. They need that
Yeah.
hit now. Tell us about love spells. I reckon they're all,
Hmm.
look, okay. I don't say they're
I
garbage, but
Yeah,
there's an element of manipulation in that one. If we know about the
definitely,
spiritual realm,
definitely.
what do you think about that?
I'm very like against them. And like I spoke about in my video, there is like manifestation rituals and stuff you could do to draw in like a soulmate or divine counterpart, right? But I think the main thing is you never put like somebody's name or specific picture on your altar or whatever, right? Because the spirits know better than we do who is meant for us and who isn't, right? And you don't want to draw in the wrong person, and you're like you said, you're messing with somebody's free will. And if somebody's not meant for you, they're not meant for you for a reason, right? Because like I said, I had mentioned in my video, like if take for the worst case example, you're really wanting this person, and worst case example, like just say they're a secret pedophile. So what are you doing? You're binding yourself and your future child to a pedophile. What if somebody's a cheater? What if they're a beater? What if you don't know what it is, right? And if you don't have spiritual discernment or
Awareness.
discernment at all, right? Like you don't really know who somebody is at their core and what they're capable of. And so when you start doing things like that, and especially if you mess with say a divine pair, right? And you draw people apart that were intended, that the most high had
That's
say.
personal gain. It's the first law of witchcraft. You don't use it. I mean, they said it in Charmed all the time. You don't use this
One of the
stuff for
things is you
personal
don't.
gain.
Yeah, and you don't one of the very first rules too of witchcraft is you don't send or don't use the craft against another that uses the craft, right? Like we don't do that against our own kind, especially.
That too.
Yeah.
That too. Yeah, this is an intriguing chat because you've got some serious knowledge about this, and you're the first one I've had on that. And I say I've got a vast array of stuff. I work with the shadow, trauma based subconscious mind
Yeah.
programming, motivating. and
Hmm.
helping people get back on track from where they are, because I've done it. Okay, I'm not
Yes.
perfect, but I'm well ahead of a lot of people. But it's
Hmm.
intriguing to having. I mean, I love all this stuff, but I won't go and have.
Me too.
I mean, I
I
no,
love
I'm not saying I didn't have a go and have a séance when I was younger. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was bloody cool. I'm going to have a séance, right?
it.
But
Hmm.
to understand the basic universe, I think if you've got an understanding of the universal and spiritual laws before you actually touch
Yeah.
this stuff, what would
Yeah.
you agree with that?
Yes, definitely. Like I said, I've always had a connection to the spirit realm. And so I understand like there's certain level of respect there, but there's respect and then there's worshiping, right? And these
That's
things
ego
you're
driven, and that's
we're
ego.
not meant to worship them, right? Like these you don't put anybody above while yourself,
Yeah, that's
especially,
ego
but
driven though.
the
That's,
most
that's
high.
sort of ego driven, isn't it? Would you say?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so yeah, I've come to realize that I deal with them with utmost respect, of course, but I don't yeah, I don't make gods of them or anything like that. Like
Okay. Okay.
um
And what do you mean by that term of making people gods? What do you how
I
do you
I don't worship them and put them above the most high, right? I realize that we are all here and we all work for the most
you talk
high and
about you and sorry, I'll just clarify the God thing. Sorry to cut you off. Just to clarify the God thing, we're talking about love spells and putting the next partner on a pedestal. Is that what we were talking about there, or are you talking
Oh,
about?
no, sorry. I kind of might have.
No,
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 I
no,
was
not at
talking
all.
when you work with deities and stuff like that, not to put deities above, above the Most High, or not to like worship deities and stuff like that. When you work with them, when you choose to work with them, yeah, you have to. There's a lot that people don't realize when you work with the spirits, right? Like a lot of them could be trickster, deceitful energies, like I had mentioned before,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you got to learn how to filter those out and how to protect yourself from things like that. Even when you work with the elements and stuff like that, and when it talks about like the phase and the fairies and stuff, like there is a lot that coincide with our realm that we just don't see. I believe that wholeheartedly. And you got to have knowledge of all these different things, like especially with the phase. It's they're tricky, right? Like they don't like to be talked about a lot and they don't like to be seen, or they don't like I advise against taking a video of them if you ever see one. Yeah, there's just a lot of different things that people don't realize about things like this. And
They don't
a
play.
lot
They've
of them,
got
when you work with them, they will they will expect something from you in the future, and you got to realize what you're getting yourself
it's not like
into.
giving you a
And
contract, isn't it? And like you're giving a sort of a
yeah,
contract of some sort. Oh, I mean,
yeah,
it's someone like what's the fairy tale? Oh, Rumpelstiltskin. You have a look at Rumpelstiltskin.
yeah,
He goes, I'll give you everything, but you need to give me something back. That's the universal law of giving and receiving, ladies and gentlemen. But then we
yes,
then we add in the universal law of interfere of you don't use the law of interference or non-interference
hmm,
and acceptance. And as I said, the one that Aaron Doherty keeps telling me that I go blank on, that we have issues with. So you got to apply those universal laws when you do things. You can't force upon someone what you want, but obviously you have to look within yourself as well. And would you say, like, people chasing their true love for whatever reason, would you say look into yourself first?
oh, definitely, definitely. Like I don't believe like the whole like finding your other half kind of thing, right? You should be whole on your own. And I believe like partnership is a team. And until you're fully healed, I don't think you would be able to draw in the one that is right for you anyway. So you'll
Yep.
just keep on going through these lessons, right? So people
Yep.
really need to like heal themselves fully before they're in the right frequency, right? So their true intended partner can come along. And if you're sitting there feeling like, oh, I want this person so bad that you're willing to like lie or do spell work to
Well, it
keep somebody or to,
goes against it's your ego talking, isn't it? Let's be
yeah,
honest.
yeah.
But how do
So
you
it's
okay,
not a right person, and
okay.
that's going to lead to like heartbreak, whatever, violence. Because if somebody is forced to be with you, whether they know it subconsciously or not, it is going to lead to violence. It's going to lead to like hate.
It's
It's
not
going
gonna
to,
work anyway, is it? Let's be honest.
yeah.
How do you deal with
So,
someone like that? Yeah, I know I'm sure you're gonna get a couple of people on TikTok going, "Oh, Anne, how you going? I've got this love of my life, and I want a spell to draw him in."
oh, I've had
Oh,
people
you already
ask
had
me,
him, have you?
yeah. And
Oh
I
my
just say,
god.
you know what? you know what? And they say, well, they hurt me because they did this, and I just want them to feel like what. And I said, you know what? If they've hurt you like that, then just walk away, because that's the best thing I can advise you. Because I don't do that kind of
Or
thing. I don't
revenge.
practice that. I will not teach people. Like even in my practices, in my videos, I don't teach people how to hex. I will teach people how to protect themselves or to like cut cords or to do healing spells, like things like that. But I will not teach people how to hex somebody, but just to protect themselves against stuff like that, or to, you know,
I, I,
undo binding spells, like all sorts of things like that.
my
That's kind of,
my my tag team partner who I do the 11 Spiritual Transit podcast with, Jackie, she's got to a point where she just blocks everything out now. Like she's got to
yeah.
that point where like she's doing a straight focus, as we said, using the mirror and turning it. And I've got my best mate. We had a 4.5, 5 hour chat about all this stuff. Like we
Oh
call
yeah.
we talk about the girl. Okay, so we've got about 6 minutes to go on this last chapter. It's been a wonderful chat. What I wanted to ask you, because now we're moving into the new phase, and you got after this interview, when they come and see you, because I'm going to put this on TikTok. So what do you feel with yourself? Where do you think you're exactly at right now within yourself? What kind of growth do you want to do yourself in the next 6 months?
Well, there's a lot that I still want to accomplish. But I believe it's something that your accomplishments and your goals is something to be worked on, and then
Yep.
kind of celebrated later. It's like kind of something that you keep to yourself and stuff. And that's where I'm at, really, is trying to work on myself the most that I can, the best that I can, right? To become the highest version of myself. And I still have triggers and stuff like that. And there's still stuff that I need to work on.
It's a
And I just,
life's a constant work, isn't it? Let's be honest. I mean,
it is, yeah.
everyone says I'm at here, but it doesn't really matter, mate. I mean, we all you can say is we're a couple of pegs higher than someone else on our own journeys. That's all it is, really.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone is in their own journeys, right? Maybe they won't get it this lifetime. Maybe but I would just like to really warn people about stuff that they're getting themselves into that they have no clue about.
I'm very
And
happy. That's the video that got me. I remember that's the video that got me. I'm so glad that you're out there. Yeah, and the way you said it, right? The way, and that's what got me. I mean, frequency wise, it really got me that you really care about what you do. You know.
yes, yes. And it's yeah, I think I was at such a low point before. Like I said, every trauma, I think every lesson that we go through, right, is for a purpose. And when you can look at it that way and start to think of it as like, well, what did I learn? And it helps. It really helps in your healing journey. It really helps in your self-reflection, and just to, you start, and then when you like kind of heal yourself, and then you start to think, okay, well, maybe it's time now I can help heal others, right? Because you can't really do that till you yourself are healed. So I think I'm getting close to the point now where I really want to put myself out there. And I
Yep.
believe that's why this opportunity came my way with you. And I'm so very grateful
Oh,
that
pleasure to have
you
you
know,
on. Absolutely, pleasure to have
yeah.
you. It's
So I think, yeah,
sorry,
I'm
keep
open
going.
to helping people more.
Yeah. Oh, you're doing a great job on TikTok and stuff like that. So,
Thank
um,
you.
but the thing is with what we're doing, I think as a collective, and we all have skills like the super friends. We've all got our own, you know,
Yeah.
we're all coming together. We've all got like the stuff. There's everyone I've interviewed is totally different, but we're all on the same path, which is amazing. We've
Mhm.
all got our own superpowers. On that note, it's been a wonderful interview. I mean, as I said, the first witch, I'm loving it. This is great. Thank you so much. And I want to thank Anne because she said it's my first one. I'm with it. Mate, you did a wonderful job. The way you spoke was
Thank you.
amazing. And as I said, debut of how, and I think a lot of people need to know about witchcraft. They really do. And I'm so glad that we could talk in depth a little bit about the perceptions of what's happening in there. We see it in horror movies. We see it, witches of this. But then there's the other side of it, which is the spirituality side, which is basically being commercialized, which we don't do. So it's totally different. Where can they
Mhm.
find you, Anne? Where can we find you on? Where can?
You can find me at anonymous
Yep, we've
on
got it up here. It's up on the screen in the corner there. I'll put that up there. Yep.
Twitter, yes, and on Instagram as well.
You got Instagram
Those are
and
some of the
TikTok. Is that
platforms
right?
I'm on. at the moment.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Are you
I
on
think
you?
when I get more,
Are you on you?
sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No,
When I get
no. Sorry, it's a bit of a delay, so it happens all the time. Sorry, I do apologize.
okay,
Keep
okay.
going. Sorry.
Yeah, when I get more into my collective readings, I will probably move to YouTube.
Yep.
Yes, but for now, if like I said, I offer there's different things that I offer, but I will not offer how to do love spells, hexes, and all that. But I do offer collective readings and personal readings and palm readings, and yeah.
Awesome,
So,
awesome. Well, the energy here has been great. It's been a wonderful chat, and thank you for taking the time to come on and chat with Jay. And we've got with Anne from my another home of mine, British Columbia, Canada. Love Canada, absolutely love Canada. But because my hero's there, and I'll do that in a minute. But if you want to jump on TikTok, especially on you'll see this on YouTube. You'll see this on TikTok. The previews will be there. Anne will be tagged. And if you want to catch up with her, does a wonderful job. And as I said, thank you so much for taking this opportunity. It's a pleasure to
yes,
do these interviews just with
literally.
the life lessons and stuff. I met your first interview. You never had first of many. And, you know,
Yeah,
we've got a fair few. We've got a good community that we're working to come up. So they'll all connect with you and never know what might happen. But thank you so much,
that's
Andy,
awesome.
for being involved on a chat with Jay from Journey of a White Feather. Thank you so much for everyone that's watching. If you want to jump on Journey of a White Feather, Facebook, TikTok, we've got Instagram, and we will be on, I'm just trying to think, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, of course. TikTok, you've got Words of the Warrior, and you've got all my friends on there. If you want to jump on, please jump on and put a DM below the videos on YouTube or wherever we can get involved. Love to interview people, love to get their stories out because every story can heal in some ways, and also to get these great people out, and because their life lessons and life stories can actually help. If it helps one person, we've helped one more person than we're supposed to. But on that note, I love Canada. I'm coming back. Trust me, Calgary Stampede, that's the bomb. But
Awesome.
oh yeah, loved it. It was crazy. 4 days was crazy. But my hero, Bret the Hitman Hart. I know. Do you know Bret Hart?
Yes, actually. Yeah.
I
Well,
met
I
him.
don't know him personally or anything, but I know
Oh,
of him.
mate, I had the honor. I had the honor of meeting him at his bar in Calgary. I use his quote because now I know why he's connected, because he gets up in the morning and says, "You want to be the best there is, best there was, best there ever will be." And thank you so much. This has been Jay. This has been Jay from Journey of a White Feather. A chat with Jay. We'll see you on the next episode. Take care and
Thank
always
you for having
be
me.
your best self. Thank you so much, Anne.
Okay.